What's going on, guys? Fun with Knives back again. I got a Gerber to show you guys today. This is the Paraframe 2 Tonto. This is the black version, and it's also serrated. Now, I did not buy this knife. I got it as a gift ages ago, and it spent a little bit of pocket time with me before I was really into knives, and I took it on a couple like camping trips and stuff. That's where all this wear is coming from. But I'm going to tell you guys right now that this is going to join the Meyer Co. Max Q tactical knife in the please do not buy category. But I'm going to tell you guys about the knife. I'll try to keep this one fairly short since there's not a whole lot to talk about. So specs on this thing, we're looking at a 3.5-inch blade. Your closed length is going to be 4.625. And then your overall length is looking at 8 1/8. So a pretty large knife and pretty decent ergonomics, which I'll get to. Your weight is 4.3 ounces. A little heavy, considering that there's not a whole lot to this knife in the handle whatsoever. Judging by the name, Paraframe, there's not a whole lot of frame there. They've milled it all out, but that is steel. So this blade shape is a Tonto with a whole lot of serrations on it. Not good for a whole lot, I can tell you that. Definitely not my favorite EDC, shape, especially with those serrations. This thing just seems unusable in a lot of cases. 3.5 inches, a little long. I definitely like my knives of this size, but this blade just really turns me off to this knife. And when I got this knife, I was really unexperienced in the knife world. I'm like, holy crap, this thing is cool. But as I'm sure you guys know, Gerber does not put out very quality stuff. But you do have the Gerber symbol there. And this black coating on this thing is absolutely just a joke. I mean, I could scrape this off with my nail if I really wanted to. That's where you can see all the wear coming from. Your steel here is 7 CR17 MOV. Just a very poor steel. I'm surprised Gerber even identifies that because sometimes they don't, which is always a huge indicator of do not buy that knife if the steel is not labeled. This thing has seen light use and it's not even close to sharp. This is basically a folding spoon. Your blade stock, I'm guessing, is probably 0.12 inches or so. And your deployment is going to be by these ambidextrous thumb studs. Pretty large, and they're terraced. This thing is riding on some sort of nylon or Teflon washers. And the actions are not bad, which is really surprising until I realized I started looking at this knife a little closer because I haven't carried this thing in years, is that the blade centering is a little off, and you got blade play side to side and a little bit up and down, but it's not bad. But your action isn't terrible. I've had worse manual knives. The thing comes out okay. Your lockup is terrible though. It's a steel frame lock and it is traveling way too far over there. I mean, this thing's going to be unusable pretty soon. This whole steel handle is also black coated. It's pretty thin in all as I drop it. You got some standoffs through here. Pretty easy to disassemble, I'm sure, if you didn't strip all those heads out, which probably be pretty easy with the quality of this knife. And then one thing to note here, guys, if you do end up buying this knife, is that the Paraframe design leaves a whole lot of blade exposed. So if you're going to be grabbing this knife and for some reason it is sharp, you can cut yourself in there. But very thin knife, and then your pocket clip is going to be something you see from Gerber a lot. It's absolutely terrible. It's huge. It's oddly shaped. It's got Gerber written on it in huge letters. The coating on that is also coming off like crazy. You're going to be not very deep carrying, and then it's only tipped down. Why in the world, Gerber, would you do clips like this that are only tipped down? And that's why Gerber doesn't get any of my business, pretty much. I think they have some okay products. I'm not dissing the whole company, but as a whole, I think we've seen them kind of decline over the years to a point now where they're barely above gas station quality, which this knife almost is. And another thing to note here is that your blade doesn't even come to the end of the handle there. So the ergonomics on this knife are actually surprisingly good. They're not awesome. They're not like Manix 2 lightweight or anything, but they're not bad. You get a little bit of a hot spot from this just ungainly clip, but other than that, I don't really mind using the knife if I can actually get it sharp enough to cut anything. And this steel is going to sharpen so readily that if you did want this as a beater knife or just something to throw in your car as a backup knife, then you're going to enjoy using it a little bit. But guys, this thing costs $24.95 on Blade HQ right now. I'm assuming it's priced anywhere from $20 to $25, and this knife is kind of the epitome of what not to do in a pocket knife. You have crappy blade steel, bad blade coating, poor handle design as far as the kind of flow through construction, the worst position for a pocket clip, and then just one of the worst designs. Your blade centering is always going to be off. I can almost guarantee you that. And the whole thing is just a little bit heavier than it needs to be. The Tonto serration combo is one of the... It's not useless, guys. I can't say that. Every blade shape has its uses. But it's supposed to look cool. It's supposed to look tactical. Your lock is all sorts of sticky and over travel, and you could extend it out if you really wanted to. Look at that. You can really get some separation out of the handle there really easily. So, do I recommend this knife? Nope, not one bit. In fact, out of my drawer of knives, this is probably the knife I recommend the least. And for $25, guys, there's so many knives in the community and just in the knife world that would blow this thing out of the water. So thanks for watching, guys. As always, do not pick up a Gerber Paraframe 2. You will be sorry. But as this was a gift for me, I'll keep it around. It's kind of a cool novelty thing. And if I really just want to go throw a knife around and beat on it for no reason, this will probably be the knife for you then. Thanks for watching, guys. Fun with knives.